The course of your financial path is being subtly changed by an invisible opponent in a world where the pace of life is unrelenting and aspirations are high. It doesn't have a mask or a weapon, but its influence is strong enough to change the way your financial future will look. It's not a superhero villain. It's not a stroke of luck. It's an economic phenomenon known by the innocent name of inflation. It spins its complicated web from the moment you wake up till you lay your head down, interfering with your everyday activities in ways you might not even be aware of. The chameleon nature of inflation. You enter a time machine and go a few decades in the past. You could go out to a fancy supper, see a movie, and still have some money in your pocket. $1 could get you wherever at the time, and would travel with you without much trouble. Today, that same amount might not even be enough to cover your coffee and a snack. That is inflation's deceptive magic, the ability to make numbers dance as your financial stability sways. There is a false sense of economic stability, while the fact is that the ground is moving. The gradual erosion of prosperity. Imagine that you are constructing a sandcastle near the water. Your construction loses some of its ground with each wave as the tide gets closer. The tide represents inflation, moving steadily forward without showing any regret, while the sand grains stand in for the value of your money. Similar to that tide is inflation. Your purchasing power eventually decreases as the value of your money erodes. When your rise hardly keeps up with the rising costs of living necessities, your magnificent promotion at work doesn't feel quite as grand. The goals you have and the desires you pursue are all influenced by this unseen power. The hidden tax on savings. Inflation comes in like a silent robber while you save money for a rainy day. Savings that once appeared secure now carry a hidden tax that loses value over time. The numerals on your bank statement start to lose meaning, subtly undermining your well-intentioned attempts to safeguard your future. That cozy nest egg you're painstakingly constructing. Without wise investments, it can develop into a less comfortable future than planned. If you don't account for inflation and make your money work as hard as you do, what you see now may not necessarily be what you'll get tomorrow. When wages fall out of step, wages frequently fail to keep up with inflation as it creeps through the economy. It's possible that a fair day's work doesn't always result in a fair day's income. You're left debating how to keep ahead of the curve as the balance between your income and outlays turns into a delicate dance. You're on a treadmill, exerting a lot of effort just to maintain your position. The finish line gets further away the more you work. It's important to have a fulfilling career and to advance personally. But it's also important to be able to weather life's storms and ensure one's future. Uncertainty and planning. Financial planning becomes uncertain when inflation is high. Making long-term financial decisions is challenging because it is challenging for companies, investors, and people to estimate future expenditures and income. This may impede investment and economic progress, misallocation of resources. People may rush to spend their money on goods and services during times of severe inflation in order to avoid further price increases. As people prioritize immediate consumption over worthwhile investments, this behavior might result in an improper allocation of resources. Wealth redistribution. Wealth can be redistributed as a result of inflation. If the value of tangible assets like stocks or real estate increases in line with inflation, owners of these assets may benefit. People who do not own such assets or who do not have the appropriate investments may find it difficult to keep up. Social and political impact. Inflation's effects can have substantial social and political repercussions in addition to economic ones. Increased financial strain brought on by rising costs of living may lead to protests, strikes, or calls for government intervention from the populace. In severe circumstances, a long period of high inflation can weaken the public's confidence in authorities and institutions, resulting in social unrest and political instability. To guarantee stability and social cohesion, governments must be aware of the potential social effects of inflation and take action to allay public worries. Retirement planning challenges. Planning for retirement is particularly difficult in an era of increased lifespans due to inflation. Retirement planning requires people to take inflation over several decades into account. Underestimating the amount of money needed to sustain a desired quality of living in retirement might result from failing to account for inflation. Retirement fund depletion may occur more quickly than expected for retirees as prices for goods and services rise over time. Therefore, to ensure a stable financial future, retirement savings methods must take inflation into account. Various tactics can be used to lessen the consequences of inflation. Purchasing power erosion can be prevented by investing in assets that have traditionally withstood inflation, such as stocks and real estate. Stability is achieved by the use of fixed-rate loans, prudent budgeting, and assets that are safeguarded against inflation, such as tips. Important defenses against rising costs include setting up emergency money, looking into alternative sources of income, and keeping up with changes in the economy. A thorough defense also benefits from prioritizing long-term investments, minimizing debt, and maximizing insurance coverage. Planning forward financially, including negotiating for wage increases that keep pace with inflation, gives people the power to successfully combat inflation's obstacles. The ripple effect on society. The purchasing power of money is diminished by inflation, resulting in a decrease in the value of each unit of cash. When a result, people can buy fewer products and services for the same amount of money when the cost of living rises. Their level of living consequently declines. Empowerment through knowledge. The good news is that knowledge is power. Knowing inflation's techniques gives you the means to combat it. It's like learning the magician's tricks. All of a sudden, the trick is no longer mysterious, and you are better equipped to move around the stage. Make financial literacy your constant companion. Diversify your investments, and invest in assets that have a history of outperforming inflation. You should be well versed in the ways that economic indicators, policy shifts, and world events can affect the ebb and flow of the inflation wave. The quest for financial resilience. You participate actively in this financial drama. The main character is you, who creates your own tale of tenacity in the face of inflation. Consider it a journey where you learn wisdom and develop plans to not only safeguard what you have, but also to prosper in the face of difficulty. Plan your course with prudence, consult professionals for guidance, and make decisions that shield you from the undercurrents of inflation. Even though the waves may be rough, keep in mind that you are in control of the ship. You are changing the conclusion to this story with each thoughtful choice you make. We can change the narrative that inflation is trying to impose by working together. Let's flip the script and make inflation a chance rather than a danger. A new era, in which we take use of the lessons and opportunities provided by inflation, arises from this collective decision. You'll emerge stronger, smarter, and prepared to take charge of your financial destiny as the city of your financial dreams, built on the foundations of knowledge, sensible decisions, and collaborative empowerment, rises on the horizon. In this city, people play the role of architects, sculpting their future in opposition to the currents of inflation, rather as passive observers. We appreciate your presence today. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and share it with other people who are interested in finance. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button to find even more insightful information. Till then, be wise and continue accumulating your cash.